Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to utilize user data to bootstrap our instance and install the Docker engine. This will allow us to have an EC2 instance deployed with Docker ready to go for all of our development needs. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is just clean up this AWS instance a little bit. I'm going to cut this out, and I'm just going to take everything that's not in a block and place it together. So this will make things look a little more streamlined. So as you can see, we've got all of our arguments here, followed by the tags block and the root device block. And just to be consistent, I'm actually going to cut out this root device block and put it above the tags block, since almost everywhere we finish the resource with tags. All right, perfect. So that looks a lot better. So now let's add this user data. First thing I want to do is create the user data file. So I'll create a new file, and let's just call it userdata.tpl. Now this TPL actually stands for template. We're not using this as a template right now, but just in case in the future you decide to use it as a template, you can. And we'll take a look at templating here in the coming lessons. All right, so go ahead and take that script I have provided in this lesson and paste that in. Now this script, as you can see, is going to update apt. It's going to install some dependencies. It's going to download the Docker GPG key. It's going to add the Docker repository, update once again, install Docker, and then it's going to add Ubuntu to the Docker group, allowing you to run Docker commands as the Ubuntu user. I know that was a little quick. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. So now that we've got this in, it's in our userdata.tpl script, and I have saved it, and this is in our root directory. Let's head back to our main.tf, and let's go ahead and add this user data to our resource. So what I'll do is just add user underscore data equals, and we're just going to use the file function here, and in quotes once again, userdata.tpl. So what this is going to do is extract the contents from our userdata.tpl file and use that to bootstrap our instance. So perfect. Let's go ahead and see if everything works. Let's run a Terraform plan. All right, one to add. As you can see, we've got our EC2 instance here. Everything's looking pretty good. As you can see, our user data is hashed here. So if this user data were to change, it actually would change that hash and indicate that we need to redeploy our instance. So that's really, really useful. So now let's go ahead and apply. Terraform apply, auto approve, just like so. Now this is going to take a little bit, so feel free to pause and then come on back whenever your instance is deployed. All right, as you can see, the apply is complete. I'm going to head into my EC2 console, just like so. And as you can see, it's running, and I've actually had a few dead ones here, but this new one is running, but it's still initializing. So go ahead and pause the video once again, hit refresh a few times, and come on back whenever the status check is green. All right, so now everything is green. We've got 2 of 2 checks passed. Perfect. So now let's SSH into the instance. First of all, I need that IP address, so we can definitely just copy it from right here. But another way, of course, is to use our Terraform state. So if we do a Terraform state list, just like so, we then see our instance right here. I'm just going to copy that. Then I'm going to do a Terraform state show and hit that instance right there. And here is all of the information we can get. And if I scroll up a little bit, I've got the public IP address right here. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is just do an SSH-I. Then if you're on Linux or Windows, you can use the /.sh/MTC key or whatever you name that key. Now, if I hit tab, that will actually correct it for Windows users, but it doesn't matter. It works either way. And then I'm just going to use my Ubuntu username @ and that public IP address. and hit enter, type yes, and bam, we are in the instance now. So if I run a Docker version, as you can see, we now have Docker installed and the instance is running. So go ahead and mark this lesson complete. Come on back to the next one and let's continue the course.